A very good afternoon to one and all. I am Dr. GIRISH Rasineni, founder and CSO, SciPen, a professional writers group. First of all, I thank organizing committee for giving me opportunity to talk at this international webinar and inauguration of International Teachers Organization in the Life Sciences. Today, I'll be talking about a topic on phrases and clauses in writing in science. Let me open my presentation. Phrases and clauses of writing in science. Why is it important to know about writing in science? As aptly said by François Arago, to get to know, to discover, to publish, this is the destiny of the scientist. Scientists in academia or industry at one point or the other point should know the scientific writing because they have to write a thesis or the scientific article or the review article. The most important is we will be judged on by what we write and what we present. Either it can be a content, structure, or style. I know the writing is an art, but when it is writing to inform, it becomes close to being a science. So if you are writing your research or your finding or discovery, the writing itself becomes a science so that it makes to world to know what we are doing and what is our research. I will not be talking about what you have to write and how to write because it all depends upon what we are working on, what is our research and what is our total work plan. Instead, I'll be talking about two things, the phrases and clauses in writing in science. What is a phrase? A phrase is the group of related words that does not contain a subject or the verb. It is actually used as a part of speech. What is a clause? Clause is instead of the phrase, it contains a subject and the verb. It is a sentence by all itself. Why is it important to know about the phrases and clauses in the science? Before explaining that, I'll give you a couple of examples to understand what makes the difference by just changing of these phrases and clauses in the way what we want to tell to the audience or the readers or the reviewers. It's a classic example taken from the photochemistry and photobiology. I will read out the sentence before explaining why is it important to have a rephrasing of the sentence so that it makes a sense so that people can read or the audience can read, the readers can read, or the reviewers can read. These findings imply that the rates of ascorbate radical production and its recycling via dehydroascorbate reductase to replenish the ascorbate pool are equivalent at the lower irradiance, but not equivalent at higher irradiance with the rate of ascorbate radical production exceeding its recycling back to the ascorbate. So this entire paragraph contains what actually the author wants to tell, but is it that the readers or the reviewers able to understand what is there in the mind of the author? The sentence actually needs to have a rephrasing with the proper subject and the proper verb to make it as a proper sentence. So after rephrasing the same sentence in the precised form, how it looks like this. These findings imply that at low irradiation, ascorbate radicals are produced and recycled at the same rate. But at higher irradiation, ascorbate radicals are produced faster than they can be recycled back to the ascorbate. So after rephrasing or finishing the entire paragraph so that it becomes easy for the audience or the readers or the reviewers to understand what is there in the mind of the author. So the phrasing of the clause or rephrasing is important to make it to clear how important is our study and what we want to tell from our discovery, from our research. I'll give you one more example, being from the plant science background. Nutrient deprivation due to stress was found to lead variety of cellular responses in the eukaryotic photosynthetic algae. It is a well-known phenomenon that abiotic stress induces changes in the photosynthetic apparatus. So, in this entire sentences, the author wants to say that he wants to stress the importance of the abiotic stress and how it affects the cellular responses in the eukaryotic photosynthetic algae. But the essence of what author wants doesn't reach, or it's not reaching the authors or the readers or the reviewers. It needs to be rephrased. After rephrased, keeping the verb or the subject at the proper position makes the sentences simple and precise. Abiotic stress leads to a variety of cellular responses in the eukaryotic photosynthetic algae, including changes to the photosynthetic apparatus. So, the importance of having this phrasing or rephrasing the clauses so that the essence of our research or discovery comes in a proper way. So, is it all the time to have only the precision that is required in the writing, or is the descriptiveness not important to read is in the writing part? Let's come to the point. Is the precision or the descriptive which need to be done? Only precision or the descriptiveness, or precision including with the descriptiveness? Before explaining to that, I will go to the universal formula, AMRAD. This is the universal formula either for the thesis or for the research article, with some other minor differentiations for the review article or the other articles too. A standing for abstract, I standing for introduction, M for materials and methods, or results and discussion, and of course references. So where is it that we can have freedom to show our skills, or where it is that which part of this formula makes us to open up our skills to make the world understand the importance of our research or our work? Two sections, the materials and the results, are the core sections. In these core sections, we can't have much freedom to showcase our preciousness or the descriptiveness, because that are the core part of our entire work that need to be descriptive, completely explained. But when it comes to the abstract and introduction, we can use our skills at the to show off the importance of our study. Of course, references also comes under the core section, where we need to be careful of references, but that becomes again the core section of where we can have our freedom to show skills or to show how important is our work. So I'll go step by step explaining each sections with the proper examples where the phrasing or the rephrasing is important to make sure what we want to tell is reaching to the audience or the readers in the proper sense. Coming to the introduction, you'll be wondering, in the formula, abstract comes at the first, but I'm talking about the introduction. I will explain to that about abstract in the latter of the part. Coming to the introduction, introduction is actually the core or the most important part of our writing, because it needs to carry our topic, it needs to carry our importance of our work or importance of our study, it needs to carry the background of our work, background of our research, and also the probable outcome of the work. So this is the very important part of our entire writing section. So this introduction includes the relevance of the work, also including the background, statement of our rationale or the approach to the problem, what we are studying, and the main objectives of our entire work. So normally this introduction goes to the funnel theory, where you go for the broad topic, makes it into a specific topic and the question. It's like starting with your unknown, a general area, and coming back to the known or the specific topic, what you are studying, and much more specific to coming back to the point, what is your question or what is your objectives of your research or your study. I will not talk about what to write in the introduction and how to write the introduction, because all of us are masters in what we are doing, either in the research or the study. Only thing is, we should know what makes the difference from the others in projecting our work or our research. So I'll come back to one example where the importance of our work need to be presented in our writings. Here is one example. Here author wants to say that he is using Chlamydomonas reinhardtii for his study because of Chlamydomonas importance. Among microalgae, Chlamydomonas reinhardtii is a suitable organism to dissect out mechanisms involved in the lipid metabolism. Since this unicellular algae is genetically well characterized and found to show significant response to the adverse conditions. This sentence is precise. It is giving us the information to the point. But is this sentence showcases the importance of our work? Why are we using the organism for our study? No. This sentence has to be rephrased to show the importance of the work. It should be more descriptive than precision. Yeah, I know that the introduction part has the limitations. We need to have the precision in writing, but the precision in showcasing of the importance of the work should not be there. We need to have the more descriptive to say that this is the essence of our work. The unicellular green algae, Chlamydomonas, is a model organism that has been used in this study of basic physiology and for investigating the regulation of primary metabolism. Why? Because it is genetically well characterized and displays a significant response to adverse condition. So it has been chosen as a suitable organism to study in their work. So the rephrasing of the sentence has been done so that to show that the study, basically lipid metabolism is the deficiency, is important in the Chlamydomonas and how Chlamydomonas can help the study of these characteristics. So the rephrasing of the clauses has to be done. It can be more descriptive or more study. Coming to the next part, which is the core part, the materials and methods. Here, we have to give the detailed information of the study. The materials which used, all complete information need to be enclosed. The processes undertook to complete the research need to be included step by step. It is what we say that in order to get the results or repeated the results what we have done, they have to follow the recipe. So we have to provide step-by-step recipes so that our results can be reproducible in the conditions. So if you follow my recipe, then you'll get my results. So that much of the core nature or the importance of the materials and methods, we have to give the complete details. Why? I'll give you two examples. Here is one example where for one of the research article, the reviewer gave his comments. The anti-MLTP protein showed in the result section is not listed in the materials and methods. This should be corrected, and the detailed description, source, dilution of anti-MLTP protein should be given in the revised manuscript. This is the comment given by the reviewer for the author. So what is it the difference? Actually, the author used MLTP protein in his results, but he has not given that information inside the materials and methods section. That makes the entire difference. So if you have used certain material, certain method that need to be completely explained in your methods and materials section, because this comes under the core group. I'll also give one more example where this is a common error most of the authors will do, especially when it comes to the statistical analysis. So they give a broad sentences stating that appropriate statistical analysis was performed and the data presented is the mean for 3 years or the repeated experiments. Here, they are not giving any specific information of what statistical analysis has been done, what methods they have used, or which softwares they have used to do this statistical analysis. This type of writings definitely stops at the review processes, because any reader or any reviewer wants to know or wants to repeat the work exactly in the same way what you have done, so that we'll get the same part of the results. So this is the way that entire section has to be rephrased. It has to be descriptive. It needs to give all the informations that we have used for our study, for our methodology. The data presented on the height, biomass, and AGR, mean of 3 years. The growth parameters were analyzed using the non-parametric KS testing. And we also have to give the information whether we have done on ANOVA and how we have used it, where we have done the KS testing, which package, like statistical package Origin Pro 8 is used for the case study in this case, and statistical package Sigma is used to do the ANOVA analysis. So that if someone wants to repeat or to duplicate our results, need to have a proper recipe so that the authentication of our research, authentication of our work is explained. Of course, if it is a patented work or you are going for the patent, we can definitely write in our materials and methods the so-and-so called procedure or so-and-so method has been applied for the patents. That becomes a complete another area. But if you are writing a method which has already been established and you have used in your study with the minor changes that need to have been completely written. So, completing to the one core part, I'll be talking about the another core and the skill part, the results and discussion. There are different schools of studies where people have done results as one section or the discussion as another section. But today in this talk, I'll be talking about both the results and discussions together. Coming to the part, the results, it is very important to include in our study all the key results in an orderly and logical sequences. It should contain the text and illustrative materials in proper. The tables, figures, and the text becomes the core part of our results. The most important, all our figures, tables need to be informative. As we have done in the materials and methods section, in the results section also, your figures or tables need to be more informative. It should give the complete information for the readers, for the reviewers. And coming to the discussion section, the interpretation of results and the explaining the key limitations need to be explained. And we also have to give a supporting information to support our results. Either it can be agreement or in the contrast, which has already been published or previously been done. And the results and discussion normally offers a general conclusion and recommended areas for the future studies. So we will be talking about the discussion section and the conclusion sections in the subsequent slides. But coming back to the results, definitely this is the classic example of the results. See, there are different schools of the people who says that the result sections need to be a bar graphs or it should be a line graphs. Some people wants to have a pie charts, and some people likes mostly to have in the table form. So I am not coming into the point to say that, okay, bar graphs are important for the results or the line graphs, because it all depends upon how we want to project our research. If you feel that our results can be properly displayed, properly give the importance in the form of a line graph, yeah, we'll go for the line graphs. Or if you feel that bar graphs will showcase our work in a proper sense, then better go for to have a bar graphs. But coming to the one point, either it is a bar graph or the line graph or the pie chart, you have to go to be very precise and you have to give the complete information of your results. For example, what is your y-axis? The label of the y-axis, including the units, need to be, and it should be properly labeled so that the readers can understand, readers can read, readers can see them. The x-axis and y-axis, where the origin starts, and what are the major ticks, what are the minor ticks, and what each symbol represents to, and what is your data. And most important, the legend. The legend should give you the complete information of your figure, including the statistical data. How many samples you have done? What is your regression value? All the data needs to be explained in your figure. The same thing with the table too. If you are mentioning the table, all the data, how much of statistical analysis you have done, what is your sample number, your proper labeling, your x-axis, your labeling, and your subpoint. If you don't have, if you have the samples like special NDs which says that not detected or not done, all need to be included in your labels of the lessons. So the result sections becomes to the core sections. As we have followed in the method section, we have to follow in the result sections too. Coming to the another part, the discussion. What makes a discussion again come back to skills where we can use it. A successful discussion should make a story. It should contain a beginning, a middle, and an end. A beginning should state the answer and summarizes what is your research. And the middle part should explain your answers and how it fits into your previous work. Whether it fits, it is not completely to say that your research or your results need to be supported. It can be an affirmative too. Some of our research can oppose, or the previous work, we are opposing the previous work, or previous work is opposing our work. But that needs to be fit into your discussion. And finally, it should give an end. It should show that these are the conclusions of our research or our work or our study. The most important in the science is the credit goes to the man who convinces the world, not the man to whom the idea first comes. How good you are in convincing that your results, that these results are important for the science or for any study. These results actually represent certain part. If you can able to convince the world, you get the credit. So the discussion part gives us the vast area to show our skills, to show how good is our work, how good is our ideas, how good is our research, to make sure that world, to say to the world that our research is meant to be published or to meant to be read by the audience or the readers. Coming back, I'll again give a example of what needs to be done in the discussion session. Here, in this example, author has written certain sentences through which the reviewer of the journal extracted the summary, and he is suggesting to the author that this is what you meant to write, but you are not emphasizing it properly. Please emphasize. See, we'll first read the comments by the reviewer. The increase in the lipid accumulation can be a result of unbalance between the photosynthetic production and utilization of assimilation, probably as a result of slowdown of biomass production observed. Thus, the photosynthesis seemed to be not the primary reason of the lower biomass production in the condition of iron deficiency. This should be better emphasized in the discussion. So, the reviewer is saying that, hey man, go back, see your results, see your discussion. Your results are saying that this is the proper conclusion, this is the proper way to explain your results. You are not explaining. Please explain it in a proper way in your discussion, because the discussion makes a proper way of explaining to the people that, yeah, these are my results, this is my work. And ultimately, this entire paragraph need to be rephrased, need to have lots of changes, ifs and buts, to make it in a proper sense, to make sure that the results what the author got have to get a proper exposure. That is the importance of the discussion part. That is the importance of rephrasing or clausing in your writing. We have to be precise where it is needed, and we have to be descriptive where it is needed. So it all depends upon how we put the words, how we change them, how we do it. That's why writing is an art, and this art need to be learned or need to be acquired by the science. Or if we don't have that, we are not able to do it, or we can get that, but the extraction of our work should not stop because of our inability to write or inability to get the point to the pinpoint. Most of us will know how to put the words or how to talk the words, but how to write it makes a difference. It's not the language alone, it's the way of our thinking to view the sentence, whether it is the past tense or the present tense or the past perfect tense, where it has to be added. Most of the time, if it is results or discussion or the materials and methods of the introduction. Introduction, it's better to use the present tense or the past perfect tense. But if it comes to the methodology, you have to use the past tense because you have already done the experiment. The tenses also makes a difference. But most importantly, how you phrase them. Where is your subject? Where is your verb? Whether your phrasing is coming into a point where the people or the reviewer are able to understand it or not. That makes a difference. That entire sentence has been rephrased. Then suddenly the author thought that, okay, we'll put one more figure there so that that gives much more strength for his work. So he included the figure and made the entire work to showcase in a proper sense. That gives you, the discussion will lead you to a proper conclusion. The conclusion which is important for your work. Why is it conclusions are important for your work? Because this conclusion gives one or two your main ideas, that gives you the end point, the pinnacle, where you are summarizing it, all your work, all your study, all your discovery into one or two lines, whether it is a conclusion or something. It's not hard and fast rule that it should be in 2 or 3 lines or less than 2 or 3 lines, but definitely you should make it into a precise one so that the essence comes out in beautifully all of your work, all of your study. I'll give an example. Here is one example from one article where author has given his conclusions, but reviewer feels that the conclusions are not related to your results, or it is not in sync with your results. Here author says that in conclusion, the present results confirm that iron deficiency includes the lipid droplets, since the photosynthetic parameters and lipid profile studies are similar. So here the reviewer is little bit of confused So he writes back stating that are photosynthetic parameters and lipid profiles in iron deficiency really similar to control? So he wants the author to go back, check, rephrase to be clear. It's not that the author doesn't understand his results or he doesn't want to make the sentences like this so that his results get camouflaged. But a small rephrasing of his sentences, little bit changes will get the essence of your work. Stating that, in conclusion, the results of the study confirms that iron deficiency induces the formation of lipid profiles, since the photosynthetic parameters and lipid profile studied are similar to the control. It's simple, straightforward, precision, explaining that this is what happened in our results, this is what the conclusions that we got from our results. So that gives you the edge to say that, see, these are my results, these are my conclusions, and these my conclusions are important. To see that, go back to our discussion, why our results are important. Then, coming back to the first part of our formula, A, abstract. It is all the time good to write, to start beginning the abstract only once you have completed your entire paper. Because this abstract should contain sentences, should be less than 25 words, because it should be a concise form of your entire thesis or your entire research on the review article. It should contain a big background of the context. It should contain the aims of your study, the information which need to be provided. So it should be a concise form of your entire work. It makes it into an abstract. And finally, the references. Most of the people think that references are okay. We can take from anywhere, or it's okay if you don't quote certain references is also okay. But failing to cite the contribution of others can be a fatal flaw. A classic example where James Watson overlooked the Franklin's work. So he has not given enough credit to the Franklin. That we know what happened to that. So the references all the time, whatever we have written, need to be quoted. We have to give the enough credit to the work that has already been quoted in our studies. It also helps the reader to trace back the source of what is the work that we are quoting, whether it is supporting to our work or it is affirmative to that. And it is also very important accusation for plagiarism. So references for all the sources of information need to be included in our study. Coming back to the essence of this talk, writing in science. So we talked about different sections of what we write. Actually, I can't say that we have given the detailed descriptions of what is a section, how to write, what is the English need to be done, which phrases can be used. Because with the stipulated time, better we give importance of phrasing and rephrasing and how we can rephrase the sentences to give the importance of our work. So coming back to the essences of phrasing and rephrasing of phrase and clauses in our writing in science, all our writings are based upon one section, which is results. Either it is an abstract, introduction, materials and methods, discussions, all come back to one base of the results. How good are we giving justification for our results? How good are we able to project our results? If you can do the justification to explain to our results, then we are doing justification for our writing. The whole structure is governed by the results box. Everything in the article must relate to and to be connected with the data and analysis present in the results section. This is how possible. This can be for your research article or the thesis. When it comes to the review article the result sections becomes the essence point or the objective point of your reviewing on what you are reviewing. So based upon that content, the entire sections depends on it, whether it is introduction or the discussion sections. Come back to your one point of your objective. So I hope I have given justification of for my title. Especially the writing part is very hard work. We need to know a lot of aspects to do the proper writing. It can be English or we need to know the subject basically. At the same time, we should know the language properly and we should understand as a common man whether we are able to make a person who is completely out of our field to understand what we are talking and what we are wants to discuss or wants to explain. That gives us lots of approach to reach out our work. That gives us, frankly saying, if our paper is really good and it will be quoted by so many people. So many people wish to come back to see what we are doing, what we are working, what is our discovery. Definitely, writing is an hard part and it needs a lot of patience, needs lots of hard work or repeatability. We have to work again and again, read it again and again, so that we'll come to know at one point, yeah, we are reaching out the essence to the readers, to the reviewers, to the audience. Thank you once again. I once again thank you all the organizing committee for giving me this wonderful opportunity, and I hope my talk will be of any helpful for the writers or the science or the academicians or the industry people who are attending this webinar. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please do write to us. We are SciPen, a professional writer's place. We take care of writing needs if someone wants to have an editing or writing part. Please write to us. We will be happy to answer your questions. Thank you once again.